Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
Hey, what's going on, my friends? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. On tonight's convo, y'all, I want to talk a little more about this whole $1.7 billion slush fund for that is going to be giving to those who have broken the law, clearly criminals, but in the name of Trump. Yes, I want to continue on that because I had a chance to talk about it on the last a few shows ago, and I really wanted to expand a lot more, but I was running out of time. In addition to that, I also want to discuss this autopsy report. The DNC released their 2024 autopsy, and it's not looking good for the party. I mean, a lot of elected officials in the Democratic Party is calling for the DNC chair, Ken Martin, to resign. And so we're gonna expand that a little more on the show, and also I want to just share a little bit in regards to the recent incident that happened in DC, where a man was arrived at a White House checkpoint, opened out a pistol, started firing, and it's extremely sad because this is yet another attempt to harm the president. And y'all know I am not a fan at all with who's in office right now. I have to respect the fact that he is the sitting president. He was elected. He holds a position. I can't take that away whatsoever. I'm not happy, obviously, but you have to understand, I respect the position. That also being said, I never wish harm on my worst enemies. I don't wish harm on anybody. I'll just say that I don't wish harm on anyone. Even if I disagree, close to 100% of what the man does, that still does not mean that still doesn't mean that there is a place for political violence, right? It's disgusting. It's sad that exists in our world, but I feel as though it's even more sad that this has been attempted multiple occasions. I'm at least, I think this is attempt number 5 that we know of, and it truly is a shame. So we're gonna talk a little bit of everything here on today's show. I also hope you enjoyed our conversation with the Florida State Representative Angie Nixon, who's a candidate for running for U.S. Senate in the state of Florida. I had an awesome time having her on. I want to it was a wonderful time. I know we had some technical difficulties, so I apologize with that. When you do interviews, especially when you do it from different locations on a virtual base, because on this show we do most of our shows and our episodes virtual, and you can never predict the way the weather is, and it messes up with the connections and the internet and all the other stuff. So again, we're grassroots here. We're grassroots. So I appreciate you for sticking with this. I apologize for the kind of staticky. It wasn't my best work, I would say, as in regards to making it perfect, because my goal here is not just to have fun with you all, but I want to give you all great content, but I want to give you perfect, crisp content. I'm a perfectionist. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, guys. But anyways, I do thank you if you stuck with us through that show, because it was some great it was a great conversation. I wish her all the best on her campaign. I wish we had more elected officials like State Representative Angie Nixon, those that are willing to fight for the people, right? She was arrested because she was fighting for the people and fighting for the Constitution. So I appreciate those folks that get up and and fight and truly do what they were elected to do. As always, my friends, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule for tuning in to yet another great episode here on the Arrington Gavin Show. This is episode 595. We're almost shy away from 600. As you know, we drop new episodes Monday through Fridays, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. You can also listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. We're available on all major podcast platforms. In addition to that, you can also listen to us on the radio airwaves. Shout out to our affiliates. WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about. You can listen into the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's on WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about. And then we're going to head over to the Metro Atlanta area to WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. You can listen into the Arrington Gavin Show also weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we're going to head over lastly to one of our newest affiliates, KSHP 1400 AM or 107.1 FM Las Vegas. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific. Again, that's only on KSHP 1400 AM or 107.1 FM. And shout out lastly to our friends at GOATverse TV. GOATverse TV, greatest of all time. It's you can download the app. It's free on the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV. And I think I've said everything. Have I said everything? I think I've said everything. Okay, I've said everything that I normally say in the opener. I always have to make sure, as much as I've done this so many times, I've done this so many times, it comes easy, but then you're like, wait a minute, I start forgetting stuff, and I'm like, oh, dang it. So I wanted to make sure I said everything I needed to say. Okay. I'm texting at the same time while I'm talking with you all, which is very rude of me. I shouldn't. I'm not good at multitasking, by the way. I don't know about you all. Are you good at multitasking? I'm not. I'm explaining. I'm literally, as I shared, I'm doing it right now. I'm showing you an example. Okay, there we go. All right. I don't need to do this anymore. This meaning texting someone. That's what I meant. Texting someone. I don't need to text anybody. But no, it's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. As of right now, here in the Commonwealth, I'm coming to you from the Commonwealth of Virginia. Thank you for, again, those who are listening to us right now, those all around the world, as well as those that happen to be listening to us from our affiliates, whether if you're in New Orleans, Metro Atlanta area, or Las Vegas. We thank you for listening to the Arrington Gavin Show, for sticking with us. Yeah, man, we got a lot to discuss, a lot to tap into today. It's very exhausting when I hear about these attempts or shootings or again, assassination attempts, because not too long ago, a week or two ago, there was the story in regards to this man. Well, I'm sorry, I said a week ago. A few days ago, there was a gentleman that had arrived at a White House checkpoint and pulled out a gun. And it's like, you almost get numb when you hear stories related to political violence. I'm just like, wow. And it feels, I feel like it's even worse, the fact that folks feel numb, because you're almost like, that's what you're used to. It's starting to be the new norm now. And it shouldn't be the new norm, but it is. And I guess you always want to ask the question, where is this coming from? Where did it start? That's something that we would never have a clear answer, because one person can say, well, it's somebody that disagrees with the values of this individual. And then you have some folks that say you just have those folks that are just not too screwed too tight in the, in the head kind of thing. Like it's just it, and then you have just evil people that exist. And it's a shame because look, I talk to politicians, I talk to folks on a regular, folks that I don't agree with, folks that I do agree with, folks that we find a way in the middle to agree, disagree. I mean, I speak with them all. I never ever, at least me personally, I've never gotten to the point where I'm like, now I got to knock you out. All right. Or I got to push you because you're talking that nonsense. No, folks, we have to realize we have to agree to disagree. We're all not going to have, see what the issue is. Folks don't like being uncomfortable. Folks always want to be comfortable at all times. And I bring this up because I was talking with a friend of mine, and we were talking politics, and we were talking about some of the elections happening around. And I'm no strategist, but it's like the more you start paying attention at different elections, you start realizing what are good strategies that can benefit this candidate or that candidate, and vice versa. First thing I said, the worst thing that I could do if I was running for office is always, throughout the whole entire campaign process, campaign journey, is show up to places that make me feel comfortable. Show up to places that I already know there's a guaranteed audience that's going to be supporters of me. Or if I go to the people, I know this community already is going to vote for me. So if I stay around that at all times, guess what? That doesn't help. Yeah, it helps me get votes, but it doesn't help me win an election. You know why? Because you're still missing out that one party that supports you. That's just one party. You got independent voters, you got Republican voters, or or if you're a Republican candidate, you still got independent and Democratic voters. If you're an independent, you got to fight to win the hearts of both sides. Look, in elections, to win an election, you have to win everyone. You have to win everyone. So if you expect to win with just one side, good luck. You won't be successful. If you are a a comedian, entertainer, and I mean, me personally, I don't want to have fans that is just fans that come from one demo. No, I want the world to know. Literally, I want everybody to hear me, and I want to help out the majority, not the minority. I want to help out the majority of folks. So I'm saying that because we are in a period where the majority is in need of somebody that can help out and unite. We really are. We have so much division, man. So much division. And personally, I think the folks that always have their work cut out are folks that's involved in the community. Folks in the church, right? Ministers. Even though you have a population of ministers that are in support of who's in office, which is, I mean, that's a shame right there. But I think all ministers really should work on bringing all people and speaking in regards to issues happening in their communities. That's just my take. We're gonna head to a commercial break. I just had to get that off my chest. Sometimes I talk and you're probably saying, Arrington, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're not making any kind of sense. It's okay, because sometimes I just rant. Sometimes I just go, freestyle off the top of the dome. I really don't have anything planned but it just it when it hits, and it's like I gotta vent off and share with somebody. So why not share with you all, right? I got a mic, I got an audience, I got your attention. I appreciate you for listening. Thank you. But what we're gonna do right now, my friends, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. Thank you for sticking with us. Please don't change that dial. We'll be right back after this.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to
And we still in traffic.
Don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
Yeah, that's that new Goldverse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GOATverse TV.
Goldverse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In GOATs, we trust.
Let me tell you something that most people get wrong about suits. A suit isn't just about you wearing it. It's how you show the world who you are. It's your handshake before you say a word, your presence when you step into any room. That's why we design statements at Dapper Luke. We don't just make suits. We'll start with the fabrics that tell your story, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends sourced from the finest mills in Italy, the UK, and India. Then we'll combine that with your vision, your personality, and your style. Every detail is tailored to you, from the fit to the finish. Whether for your wedding, a gala, the boardroom, we specialize in creating custom suits that are unique, just like the men who wear them. We spent years perfecting this craft, apprenticing under designers in New York and showcasing collections in New York and for Baltimore Fashion Week. None of that matters as much as seeing the look on your face when you try on your custom suit. Over 900 clients have already trusted us to deliver the best custom suits. They trust me to deliver the confidence. We proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore and would be honored to bring your vision to life next. Let's create something unforgettable. Book your free consultation today at www.dapperluke.com.
6'10", number one pick, 16 seasons, college player of the year, all-rookie standout. Joe Smith built a career on grit, consistency, and showing up.
Greatness isn't just about the game. It's about how you show up every day. Rugged Evolution now offers body care products for every man, because not every man wears a beard, but every man deserves care. Greatness doesn't fade.
It evolves. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Every beard deserves to be legendary, and every man deserves care.
All right, folks, welcome back. I want to continue on talking about these this slush fund, this 1.77 billion dollar slush fund. That's what it is. It's reparations for the J6 rioters, okay? Money that the president wants to be given to them, but not out of his pocket, out of American citizens' pockets. Yep. Taxpayer dollars. He wants America, he wants us to pay the folks that stormed the Capitol, damaged private government property, those who injured law enforcement officers that were doing their job, and God forbid if they weren't there, what could have happened with the elected officials. I already I opened the show a while back about this, so we're really just continuing on, but I want to play you this clip here, a couple of clips actually. So this is from Representative Norman. I don't even I'm trying to see exactly where he is. He's a congressman. I'm trying to see where is he representing. Let's see here. Let me look up before I play you that soundbite. He represent, I'm pretty sure it's a red state. It won't surprise me. Ralph Norman out of I'm sorry. Oh no, out of South Carolina. Okay, I was right. I thought it said California for a second. I'm like, oh no, Carolina. So Congressman out of South Carolina, he gave his take on the January 6th, the J6 incident, the tragic event, something that I think was a tragedy in United States history, second to 9/11, in my opinion. Well, behind 9/11, that's what I meant. But he is over here defending January 6th, saying it was made up. I'm not making this up, y'all. I'm not making this up. Listen what the congressman had to say.
January 6th is an issue that was made up in the first place.
People were convicted of assaulting.
Well, I know. Made up, sir? That was a staged thing from day one.
What about it?
January
riot
6th.
was staged?
When you had police officers letting people in the building, when you had people that's not being prosecuted, Ray, forget his name, there's no excuse for it.
Your colleagues, though, your Republican colleagues ran for their life and barricaded themselves in their chamber. Do you think they were acting?
No, there was a riot there, but it was a self-made riot by members who hate Trump. It was made up. January 6th is an issue that was made up.
Replay it again.
People were convicted of assaulting.
Well, I know. Made up, sir? That was a staged thing from day one.
What about it?
January
riot
6th.
was staged?
When you had police officers letting people in the building, when you had people that's not being prosecuted, Ray, forget his name, there's no excuse for it.
Your colleagues, though, your Republican colleagues ran for their life and barricaded themselves in their chamber. Do you think they were acting?
No, there was a riot there, but it was a self-made riot by members who hate Trump. It was made up. January 6th is an issue that.
Oh my gosh, y'all. This person is an elected official. This person is an elected official. Woo! Okay, so he said it was made up. He said this was made up. Okay, this was made up. All of it was made up. Officers let people in. This is what. Oh God, I'm trying so hard to hold my tongue. Cause see, when this program was strictly a podcast, I was a bit more, off the rails with my language. But Ralph Norman, sir, you are a disgraced individual. It's a disgrace to see that you even serve in Congress, because you, sir, are just a sorry excuse for him. I'm sorry. It's just, you literally, okay, let me remind folks. Trump's former FBI director testified saying there was no evidence that the riot involved fake protesters. That's one. Rioters themselves have claimed responsibility for the attack. Okay. And rioters injured more than, check out this number, 140 police officers, 140 injured, 140 police officers, over 140. And now they're asking for $1.7 billion, and the president agrees, because here's the thing. See, here's the pure crock of bull that comes out of this story, is the fact that, once again, you can break the law in the name of Trump, but you can't break the law if you're not doing it in the name of Trump. See, if you do it, if you don't do it in the name of Trump, then you break the law. You're a criminal. You gotta, yeah, you gotta be punished. But if you did it for me, if you did it for Trump, get the Medal of Freedom. Okay, give the Purple Heart to this person. All right, let me be one of them rioters. I would be under the jail. Okay, I'll be in there for life. For life. But Representative Norman's like, it was made up. It was made up. It was staged. The whole thing was staged. Officers let those people in. Officers let those people in. So, okay. So what you're saying is that when an officer opens the door and says, go in, vandalize, do all that stuff, what I'm saying is it's still against the law. What he's explaining is a fabricated lie because there's no evidence showing or proving that an officer opened a door and said, come on in. All thousands and thousands and thousands of you, come on in, start effing crap up. Start breaking everything up. Matter of fact, don't look, they said they opened the door. No one opened the windows. No one opened the windows. So what does he have to prove for those that busted through the windows and came through like a bunch of vigilantes? Okay, come on now, come on. We cannot make this stuff up. We cannot make this stuff up. Hold on, I got another clip to share with you. And excuse me for the language is a bit vulgar, so I'm gonna be kind of pausing from time to time when that hits. But let me go play you this because again, this representative said it was staged, and the sitting president is saying we need to Americans need to provide $1.7 billion to give to these folks. Check out this.
On January 6th, rioters caused around $3 million worth of damage to the U.S. Capitol.
This is our house! Wait, I said!
These videos all came from exhibits presented by prosecutors in court. At NPR, we reviewed thousands of these videos, and they show how people didn't just smash windows and doors to storm the building, they also used the riot to steal stuff.
Yo, take laptops, take the work, take everything. Hey, help yourselves, guys. It's on the house. It's on the house.
And party.
Smoke in the Capitol, boys.
One rioter told me it was like a bunch of frat bros stormed the Capitol. People smoked and got drunk and high. Rioters destroyed cameras from the media.
I mean, look at that. I had to pause it because of the language, but they're breaking just
to help with the cost of fixing the Capitol. But when President Trump issued mass pardons for the defendants, they no longer had to pay.
I mean, $3 million in damage. Trump pardoned like over 1,500 of them. Okay, it's just this. Oh my goodness. I really don't know. Oh, hold up. Let me see here. Let me go ahead and while I read you this, I want to show you a list of names that could possibly be applying for this. Enrique Tarrio, former Proud Boys leader, convicted of leading seditious conspiracies for organizing the January 6th attack. George Santos, former Republican congressman, arrested and tried for fraud. Over 400 January 6th insurrectionists. Luke Hoffman, who pleaded guilty to assaulting law enforcement on January 6th. Andrew Tate, not Tate, but Andrew Tate or Tayaki or something. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. He was a registered sex offender who attacked police officers with bear spray, right? This was a gentleman who had on the weird moose hooks or hoofs, whatever. Mike Lindell, he didn't participate in that, but these are just folks that could apply for money from this taxpayer slush fund. The DOJ's anti-weaponization fund could pay January 6th convicts, fake electors, and Trump allies defending their crimes and false claims. Look, hell, even the man who can't stand Trump but could still apply for this list, Michael Cohen, former Trump lawyer who pleaded guilty for using campaign funds to pay women who alleged affairs with Trump. There's a long list of people. I think I also have the couple that, oh man, let me see here. The couple that came outside with their guns when it was a peaceful protest, by the way, of of Black Lives Matter. Well, no, it wasn't just Black Lives Matter. It was just individuals who were protesting for George Floyd, if I'm not mistaken. Remember this couple right here who became famous for what they did? She had her little handheld gun. He had his, they didn't even step foot on the property. They just went out there looking like, hey, look, come there as we go. Come on, y'all. Who else is Mark McCloskey? Okay, that was the name. He's now waiting for details on how to apply for the Trump administration at one point. And that's the person that already came for money. I've already said George Santos, and this really pissed me off. I don't know about you all, but it really frustrates me, the fact that even former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, who describes himself as a Trumpocrat, because he's still a registered Democrat, but he is a Trump supporter. He's endorsed Trump and he considers himself a Trumpocrat. Well, it's hilarious. It is very, very, very hilarious how this is the world we live in. That's all I gotta say. This is the world we live in. I don't want to add any more to this, man, because it's really just the more I talk about it, the more it frustrates me. So I'm gonna conclude talking about this reparations, but this is just one of many reasons why I never understand how people can still stand behind this individual sitting in the White House, the administration as well. Majority of them are either resigning or getting fired, and then they leave, do a book, and then talk about how bad it was under his administration, yada yada yada. And look, even a lot of his colleagues, a lot of folks in his party, in the Republican Party, does not agree with this. They don't, because they know firsthand this was this was domestic terrorists, really, vandalism, injuring folks. Come on. I don't get it, but they will continue to say how, the Black Lives Matter movement was or is more violent. They're damaging property and this and the other. Well, didn't they just damage property too? I'm hypocrites, man. Hypocrites. Let me come out of this. Let's go ahead and talk a little about this recent let me talk about this recent shooting, because I'm looking at my time. I don't want to share too much, but it was a very sad incident that occurred, and that incident that should not have happened. But there was a gentleman who arrived at a checkpoint in at the White House recently and opened fire. I think he took out a pistol. He was taken down, and no one was, I believe in the crossfire, one civilian was shot and injured. Let me see here. Okay, it's reported by Fox News. Gunshots heard outside White House. Male suspect taken down by Secret Service. Let me give you just a brief overview of it. President Trump was unharmed inside. He was inside the White House. The gunman never breached the grounds general perimeter. An adult civilian bystander was shot during the gunfire exchange, and one U.S. Secret Service member was taken to the hospital as a precaution. Hold on. I think this is the suspect's name. It says here Best had prior encounters with the U.S. Secret Service on at least 2 occasions in 2025 and history of mental health issues. Sources said the FBI and ATF and Metropolitan Police are assisting with ongoing investigation. It's still an ongoing investigation, but here's just a little clip of a reporter who was, doing what they normally do, and she starts hearing the gunshots in the background.
President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
So that was just one of many. You can go across social media and see all the different video clips that was shared during this event. I mean, people running for their life. I mean, it's truly sad and should never have happened. And as I will say, it's even more sad that we continue to hear yet another story of an attempt on, because I think that's what they're saying. They're saying it was an attempt on the president and his staffers and families. It's a shame. That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. But again, it's an ongoing investigation. I really don't know how to respond even more or give you even more take on that. Just to say, I'm glad no one was I'm sorry, folks, someone was seriously injured, but I'm just glad it could have been worse, is what I'm trying to explain. It could have been worse, but I'm glad that did not happen. But it's a shame that it did. In general, it's a shame that it did. I want to also share you this story here about the DNC. DNC stays taking L's. I'm gonna tell you that right now, and I'm gonna explain why. So the Democratic National Convention released a 2024, Democratic National Committee released a 2024 autopsy with the chair apologizing for creating an even bigger distraction. Okay, let me go ahead and do I have a sound? Oh, yes, I do. Good. So let me share you this quick clip and we'll talk about it on the other end. So hold tight as I share this soundbite when this first came out to the national news, and now it's been spread out saying how discombobulated the party is, and even elected officials are calling for the resignation of the current chairman, Ken Martin.
Breaking news just in. Democrats just released a report about the 2024 election and their loss. This is that autopsy report, and it is incomplete, but it does paint a dismal picture for Democrats. It says the party has gone between stagnation and retrogression since Barack Obama's win in 2008, and that Democratic candidates have proven incapable of projecting strength, unity, and leadership, and voters have drifted away. Let's bring back MS Now Capitol Hill reporter Kevin Fry. And Kevin, I know you just are getting an initial look at this. It's 192 pages. I know you haven't had a chance to read through all of it, but based on what you're seeing so far, what are the big takeaways? What do we know about this report?
Yeah, about 20 pages in. I will say, look, one of the things that has stood out to me is one of the things they have in, quite frankly, the opening, which is that they argue that the reduction in support for and training for state parties has contributed to a shift in voter registration issues, organizing capacity for the state at the state level, and persistent problems with their candidates to listen to voters. They also see this as being somewhat of a contradiction when it comes to what voters are backing policy-wise versus backing and supporting their candidates, saying, for instance, voters have backed through referendums in states issues, for example, dealing with health care, abortion rights, the list goes on, things that Democrats might actually typically win on, but at the same time, their candidates aren't necessarily winning on those issues. They also say that regaining trust and confidence in the party where voters have an affirmative reason to support Democrats will take a comprehensive strategy and considerable effort over multiple cycles. So this is not some sort of short-term change they're seeing here, saying that Democrats need to do it right now because the future could become even more difficult to do so. Still pouring through some of the kind of the contradictions they see between how Senate candidates did versus the presidential candidates did, where they see the Kamala Harris, for example, failed to get across the finish line compared to other candidates. So a lot more to unpack here, but those are just within the first dozen or so pages, some of the initial takeaways about the kind of structural messaging and favorability issues that the party sees with just the voting public.
Let me tell y'all, so again, me being a social butterfly, I talk with folks in the Democratic Party, and they're not ashamed to like share with me issues that occur. I mean, in all honesty, I don't even need to really ask them because I see it publicly. One of those things is obviously the transparency factor and the messaging. Democrats suck at messaging. Democrats also suck at being transparent with Democratic voters. It's the reason why the party have been in this rebuilding stage since the last presidential election. Now, don't get me wrong, this current administration is showing their ass to the point where they're hurting themselves even more. And I think with a lot of the recent flips and special elections that have been happening, I think that speaks volumes as well. But let me just expand this a little more. The report details problems that plague in the Democratic Party in the last presidential election. So the first thing I can think of, because I've shared it a lot here, you allowed a man that was damn near 100,000 years old. Like, he kept y'all waiting for, I'm going to run for re-election, and the party stood behind him. Now, I'll be honest here, I get it. You respect those in leadership, but you knew who this person was when he first was elected. You knew while in that position, you should have already been prepared. Look, why do y'all do this? Why do y'all do this? You knew exactly what you need to do. Because here's the thing. Donald Trump never stopped campaigning when he left office. He barely wanted to leave office because he was saying it was all a hoax. It was he never would admit that he lost the election. And he stayed on that campaign trail because he kept on having rallies in all these states, these random rallies and gatherings. He kept his name out there because he knew he was going to be running again. And y'all should have been prepared, okay? Biden waited and gave his VP 107 days to run for office. 107 days. And that's why folks get irritated with Kamala with the whole, when she was on The View, and when they asked if there's something you can change or do anything different, and she never gave a response. She never gave a clear answer. And folks like Stephen A. Smith is like, well, do you blame her? She wasn't trying to call out her own boss, but she was still in that position. And I hear him and I understand where he's coming from with that. But at the end of the day, this person gave me 107 days to run. So in all honesty, I need to say, well, look, this would have occurred, but yes, I probably would have done something different or done this different. Go ahead and say it. Because to me, I would have been already pissed the fact you gave me a short time to try and win an election when the former president has already been rallying and campaigning for 3 years and more. They're saying the issues that happened in the party that in the last presidential election include messaging that created tensions with key constituencies on the economy, late arriving effort to organize voters on the ground, common sense stuff. Lack of alignment between the party's main super PAC and then Vice President Kamala Harris campaign. Says here, meanwhile, the autopsy itself has already caused strains within the party. Martin had been pummeled in public for months after he promised to release the report and then reverse course in December, saying he would not do so. So it's like, okay, what you holding on for, man? What you holding on for? And it drew a lot of tension from people. So this was Martin's apology that he put out. He said, when I was elected to DNC chair, I commissioned an after action review of the 2024 elections that I wanted to be honest and transparent. Oh, good job with that, buddy. And with actuable and specific takeaways for the future of the Democratic Party. When I received the report late last year, it wasn't ready for prime time, not even close. And because no source material was provided, it would have meant starting over. He then went on to say, I could not, in good faith, put the DNC stamp on approval, of approval on the report that was produced after last November's massive Democratic wins. I didn't want to create a distraction, but by not putting the report out, I ended up creating an even bigger distraction. No. Causing a distraction? What the hell does that even mean? I don't want to cause a distraction for the other candidate trying to win these elections. Y'all trying to win, okay? Y'all trying to win. What distraction is it causing? What distraction is it causing, Mr. Chairman? I sincerely apologize. For full transparency, I am releasing the report as we received it in its entirely unedited and unbridged. It does not meet my standards, and it won't meet your standards. But I am doing this because people need to be able to trust the Democratic Party and trust our word. Let me share you just some of the names that have come out in support and calling out the DNC chair and asking for him to resign. So the first House Democrat was Representative Mark Wessy, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Democrat out of Texas. He said Ken Martin should move on following the botched rollout of an autopsy report. He also added there doesn't seem to be a plan to turn things around, and the clock is ticking. November is literally around the corner. I believe it's time for him to move on. Martin went on to say, the DNC chair had said, noted the independent report was not put up to his standards. I've already mentioned that. He said to, drop my stuff. Oh, no, I didn't want to repeat that. So that's one person. Hold on. I have another individual who, or more individuals. So that was just the first Democrat to come out publicly. You had Mark Pokin of Wisconsin appearing on the recent Tom Hartman program, said in response to a caller who argued that Martin should go. He said, I agree, having what we have right now is not doing it. I'll be honest. It was Jamie Harrison knew the right time to resign. And this is no disrespect to Jamie Harrison, but he was a DNC at the time during this whole process before Martin, if I'm not mistaken. Jamie Harrison, who was, I believe he was running for, was it Senate at the time in South Carolina? He was the DNC chair during that election cycle, the last election cycle. I mean, Martin has only been the DNC chair maybe what, 3 or 4 years. I don't think he's been the chair that long. And I could be wrong. But I have to look it up. Other voices have joined the chorus. Tom Vitor, a former spokesperson for Barack Obama, said on X, if he'd done this in the first place and not lied about why it hadn't been released, things might be different. As it stands, this raises more questions about his judgment, candor, and ability to lead the DNC. I think this is just an all-around issue that the DNC always falls in line with. I can't even say it's all on. Yes, it's easy to blame him because he is the chairman. I get it. It's easy to point a finger at this individual, but he can't be the only blame. See, that's why I enjoy folks like Florida State Rep Angie Nixon, folks like former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner. I love those unapologetic individuals, you know, those like a Thomas Massey. I mean, I'm just saying, I prefer outspoken of people that are, they don't care about who's in charge of the party. They don't care about buying to their party labels and stuff like that. They're like, no, this needs to be said. We need to talk about this. I appreciate it. Emily Amick, a Democratic strategist and former counsel to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, said in a statement, Ken Martin has lost the confidence of the party and voters across the country who have been moving away from the Democratic Party cycle after cycle. I question how he can move forward with him at the helm of the presidential primary process without the trust. She went on to add, there was seemingly no oversight of this report, and Ken saw it last year and did nothing to remediate it. His handling of this report throughout this process was an embarrassment and damaging indictment of the ability to run the DNC. The question is, y'all, what's next, right? Will Martin cave and resign? Will the party continuing to go in on him, right? Because last time we checked, I remember when there was a vice chair by the name of David Hogg, and so many folks was against David Hogg. David was one of the survivors of the, it was a shooting in Florida that happened. I'm blanking on the name of the school, but he then grew to be an advocate, and then even that he grew to be a bigger name in the Democratic Party, in my opinion, to the point he would have been like the youngest, or was the youngest vice chair. I mean, I loved his strategy. I loved his mission. Someone like a David Hall could bring a lot of folks to the Democrat Party, in my honest opinion. I mean, I'll be independent till the day I die, but I could agree with the positioning he was taking. A lot of folks looked at that as like, whoa, he's a young guy trying to just unseat a lot of our incumbents. Because, see, everybody hated the fact that he said he's going to put money into challengers. I don't see that being an issue. I see that being a great thing. I don't know if you've noticed during this midterm cycle, we have a lot of challengers trying to unseat incumbents that have been in office since the golden age. All right. We got folks in their upper 80s and early 90s running for re-election. We keep hearing the topic of term limits. That repeats itself on a regular. Term limits. what's your take overall? I got a quote actually by David Hogg. He's now the founder of Leaders We Deserve, a grassroots organization focused on electing young progressives. He said in a statement, Kevin Martin should resign and the DNC should select a new leader who demonstrates competence, creativity, moral clarity, and relentlessness, commitment to actually changing the broken Democratic Party brand. More and more progressives organization and committees have shared the same thing. The Progressive Change Campaign Committee carried out an overnight survey of over 1,200 members and found that 95% want Martin to step down following the autopsy. The director of strategic campaigns, Maria Lago. I don't know how to pronounce that name. My apologies, but Maria is the Democrat, the director of strategic campaigns for the Progressive Change Campaign Committee, and she added that the DNC's autopsy fiasco is bigger than one bad report. It reflects a deeper distrust of the entire Democratic establishment that continually circles the wagons around weak leaders and out of touch ideas. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more, because here's the thing: how long would you continue to have folks like a Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries? How long? Nothing's been winning for them. Nothing's been working at all. You know, once again, and I'm looking at my time right now because I really got to go. I got like less than 60 seconds, but once again, y'all can come after me if I say, hey, I think Maxine Waters needs to retire and sit down. Y'all can keep on getting mad. I don't care. Her, James Clyburn. I know Nancy Pelosi has announced that she's retiring. Thank you, Jesus. Look, they've done what they had to do. They've done what they had to do. You can't stay in there forever. Why is it so bad that you can't use that knowledge, that seniority, and mentor the next up and coming? Because they're ready, they're hungry, and they're there. But the establishment always wants to put money to those that they already pick, instead of like why? What's the point of you having primaries? What's the point of having primaries if you're going to continue to ignore and just go after that one person and push them forward and motivate them as to the hem, saying this is our person, this is what we picking? No, that's not how it goes. Stop taking the freaking power out of the people's hands. Goodness gracious, it just frustrates me, because if y'all could have got y'all ish together, we would not have this. We would not be talking about folks that have damaged the federal building, injured law enforcement officers, and now they're getting paid. They're getting rewarded. Are you kidding me? Like, what was happening? What is happening in this world? Huh? Y'all forgive me for acting crazy today, but I'm just saying it gets so old and tired. And for me, I'm trying to well, dang it. Well, I can't talk too much, man. I'm running out of time. Well, look, we're gonna continue the conversation. Thank you for sticking with us here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Y'all be safe, blessed out there, and I will talk to y'all.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.